Yo, what up, everyone? Welcome to the Enough Said podcast. We are back, gentlemen. It's season 5. Do you believe we've been doing this thing for 5 years? Unbelievable, guys. This is it. Season 5,
Wow,
man.
it's like time's going by real fast, man. 5 years.
5 years?
It's
Dang.
season 5,
I
guys.
was only
This is
2
it.
years.
Yeah, I know. So, well, we got our anniversary coming up after this season, so we'll have to do something special, maybe get some clips together or whatever. But like to thank everybody who's been with us throughout all these 5 years. If it's 3 years, 5 years, whatever it's been. We'll have to actually figure that out when our exact anniversary is. But nonetheless, we are all back, except Jermaine is driving, but he is ready to go today. He is joining us. Hey, as always, if you haven't seen us before or you're new to the show, you can always check us out on YouTube, all the major social media channels, Twitter, of course, or X, whatever you want to call it now, Instagram, all the major networks. It's Enough Said Crew. If you want to email us as well, if you like the show, it's enoughsaidcrew@gmail.com. And hey, guys, we got a great season coming up here. We got some guests. We're talking about maybe getting some players on this year. We may have some people coming on who are in production this year. So we got a really great season coming up. A lot of good guests this year. So we're going to start it off right this year, as always, of course, with our predictions. So we're going to get that together. But before we do that, you guys know I got something for you on intro. So it's been a long summer. So you know I'm going to be cooking this up for a while.
Oh, man.
Here we go.
Here we go. Yeah, here we go.
Let me buckle in my seat.
Here we go.
Here we go. All right. Let's start. Jermaine dropped off. I actually like his the best. All right, let's start with this guy because he's got the San Francisco thing in the background. When the 49ers lost the Super Bowl, he was stunned. The only thing more painful was getting his nails done. What's up, Mike?
Damn.
Okay. Yeah, man.
Okay.
What happened? Your wife made you get a little manicure before your wedding or something?
I mean, that was a long time ago, man. That's when I had to get married. You need to look good out there.
I just had to make sure I wasn't talking to Caleb Williams on the show or something here. You know what I mean?
It was clear though. I didn't have no color or anything. You know,
did a Heinz Ward move, huh?
Yeah. No paint color or anything like that. And yeah.
Got the manicure done.
We still got to talk about that, Jermaine, painting his nails, but we'll get into that later, you know. But all right. So Mike, welcome back to the show, buddy. Always good to have you as usual.
Yeah, happy to be here, of course.
Yeah. All right, here he is. This is the guy who I've been friends with since the first grade. He's sitting there to the left. All right, Dre, you ready? He's like, no. Filling out Mike's tax form was quite a trick, especially if you were a little bit dyslexic. What up, Trey?
That's a good. What's up, everybody? What's going on out there? Oh man, yeah, that daggone thing started jumping out in my face and stuff was moving around. I was like, what am I filling out?
It was pretty intense. Although I didn't think it was bad as last year. I don't know, maybe because I was expecting it, but I don't know.
I actually had to like go back and I'll come back to it. I can't answer that right now. It's like that's like, what do you mean? I can't predict who's the MVP. It's season has started yet.
Yeah.
That's for there's predictions. We'll come back to it. See, we got it right, got it wrong. Might be some surprises. We'll see.
Yeah, and we got a lot of our guest predictions too, which is going to be kind of fun. People who have been on the show, some of our friends, things like that. Awesome, man. All right, Jermaine, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Here we go.
Jermaine.
Here we go. Jermaine is back. When he was young, he used to watch all the Dukes of Hazzard episodes they were making. Now he can't even slide across the car anymore like Luke because his hips are aching. What up, Jermaine?
Oh, man.
Sound like the phone is in his hip.
That's a good one. Yeah. Let everybody know my hip is intact.
That's because you got run over by Ron Dane. You still haven't recovered, man.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
God, we gotta get Ron Dane, man. He'll crack up. We gotta get him on here, man.
Yeah, we gotta find Ron Dane.
We gotta find Ron Dane. If anybody's listening, please go find Ron Dane.
Yeah, we gotta catch him up.
We gotta go find him.
Oh man, yo, have streams in the house. Yo, what up? Have catching us early
What's up,
here.
Hef? What's going
Just
on?
missed all our
Hef?
funny intros, Hef. But we'll get you in. Hef is one of the people who I'm sorry to say is a Washington Redskins fan. Sorry, Hef, but we'll get better. You know, little by little. So you know they're gonna get better this year. So have patience, though. Hef. We'll talk about that. Have patience, man. All right. Let's do it, guys. Let's see these predictions. What is going on? Mike, you're kicking us off, I think.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Off. First and foremost, before I get things started, just want to say thank you to all you guys that filled it out. Thanks to our friends that filled it out: Tony, Sierra, Kai, K Diz, Hef. Appreciate it. I know it takes a little time to fill this thing out, but I hope you enjoyed it. Do a little presentation I got, and it'll be worth it. So let me go ahead and share this screen real quick.
Yep.
All right, Hef's proud. All right,
Yeah.
I'm with you, Hef. All right. By the way, when Mike's sharing this, if you haven't checked out the Authors podcast, feel free to do that.
So just real quick, added a couple little, I guess, video clips and stuff to this. Some of it links to live audio, so hopefully it doesn't have commercials and stuff, but we'll work through that. All right, let's get this thing started. First off, I just want to say you guys are going to notice a little snippet of our new intro that we're working on, so check this out.
Cool.
All right, you guys hear me?
Yep,
sir.
All right, we are ready for the upcoming NFL 2024-25 season. And this is our Enough Said predictions. Like I said, take everybody's feedback, and we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. So first off, we're going to go to the NFC West. And for the NFC West, pretty much everyone across the board, except for Hef and Jermaine, everyone picked the Niners. Hef and Jermaine have the Lambs, aka the Rams, finishing in first place in the division ahead of the Niners. This is a little bit of a surprise, but it's possible. So that's for the Sea Chickens and the Fraud. I think it's kind of a given. Most of us are feeling that they'll be fighting it out for third and fourth place. So it looks like it's going to be either between the Niners and the Lambs. For everyone that picked the Niners, and for even those that didn't pick the Niners, just want to say.
Come on, man.
Yep. Let's go Niners. All right.
Can I say something, please? Just stop. All right. Because you've been throwing wool over our heads for like the last 4 seasons with the 49ers. They're, like I said, they're in the same category as the Dallas Cowboys. Nothing. They always hype you up and let you down. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Just stop. All right, just relax. Come back to reality, Mike. All right, because now I figured it out, man. This is all hype, man. For real, it's all hype and it's ridiculous. All right, you ever won anything? So just calm down. All right.
You know what? I'm going to take the high road.
Man.
So I'm just going to move on to the NFC East, and I'm going to give you guys this. So. As you can see, everyone has picked the Eagles. Sierra's the only person that has to kick the Cowboys to finish first in the division. Eagles not surprised. They got a stacked team. And also, there hasn't been a repeat champion in that division since 2004. So Dallas won it last year because the Eagles had that big collapse. So it's kind of expected that the Eagles would take over this year. It seems like there's a lot of back and forth about the Commodores and the Giants, who's going to finish third, who's going to finish fourth. I think right now it looks like the Commodores, I don't know, same mostly Giants are going to finish last and Commodores are in third. So just want to say you guys my buddies, and so this is the only time I'm going to allow this. So for the next 38 seconds, if you're not an Eagles fan, cover your ears. If you're an Eagles fan, you go ahead and sing along.
is back, and Dick's Sporting Goods has what you need to win your year. Check backpacks off your list from Nike, The North Face, and more.
That's the first and last time I will ever play that in its entirety, this whole entire season. Y'all didn't sing along. Y'all aren't fans.
Look, man, I'm
Hey,
just
Mike.
shaking my head. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Mike. Mike.
Go ahead, Jermaine.
Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike. I'm a realist, man. I'm a realist, Mike. I mean, that could just easily blow up in our face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be the coordinators. You know, they got 2 new coordinators this year. They're experienced, but they didn't look good against the Vikings yesterday. I know it was their backups. They weren't doing anything, but it wasn't exactly encouraging. So we shall see. You know, like I think we all said it's going to depend on those offensive defense coordinators and how they interact with, shall we say, the puppet, Dre? We got the puppet going on, Sirianni.
Yeah, big time. Big time.
But Mike, one thing I'll say, and you know I hate Howie. You know how my feelings on Howie are. But I will say this. He's not like the 49ers in the sense that they're going to spend all their money on 3 players again, because the 49ers just signed that offensive lineman to a nice big contract. They still got Ayuk. They still got, you know, our little quarterback there, Purdy, they got to sign. Mr. Irrelevant's going to get paid. So Howie, you got to give him credit for what he's been able to do with the salary cap, although I don't like his decision making, but that's another conversation.
I know, you know, I think Howie's done a pretty decent job.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, what Lynch and crew are doing. You know, he won the Super Bowl last year. None of this, like I said, none of this matters. You know, you can spend all you want when you win. It's just when you lose, then it's big concern. So we'll see. I think this season is going to be tough. But let's go ahead and move on to the next division. So we got the NFC South. A little bit of a mixed bag here in terms of what we were picking for first and second place. You know, a handful of people like Sal, you got the Bucks finishing first. Sierra had the Bucks, Tony had the Bucks. You know, I had the Falcons. It seems like we all kind of agree that the Falcons and Bucks are going to finish first and second, and that the Panthers are mainly going to finish last. Jermaine, you got the Panthers finishing second. I was a little surprised by that. I didn't think they're going to be that good. What have you seen that you picked them to be second in that division?
No, I haven't seen nothing. I just did a flip of the coin.
Yeah.
All right.
quick shout out to KD as well. What's up, KD?
What up,
What up?
KD?
What up, KD?
Mhm.
Hey, what's up, KD? All right, so move on. We got the NFC North. I think all of us have the Lions. Dre, you're the only person that strayed away from Lions and got the Packers taking over that division. They were a hot young team last year. They looked pretty good. Other than that, I think we all agree that the Bears and Vikings are going to be somewhere in third or fourth place. Dre, so you really sold on the Packers, man?
I am. I think it was a tough one for me because we're all on, you know, how Detroit finished last year, you know, finally got to the playoffs after 30-something years. And then, you know, looks like, you know, Campbell is their real deal. But Green Bay, man, like they really impressed me from how, you know, Jordan Love just towards the end of the season into the playoffs, crushed the playoffs teams, and then really walked in there, man. And I don't think anything's going to change coming up this year. And I think Detroit really has a contender to deal with. So to me, man, I really, and with Matt Campbell gambling, he said he's not going to gamble, but come on, man, when it comes to game time, he's going to go back to his old ways and stuff and might screw it up, especially the division games against Green Bay. So I'm taking Green Bay, man, over Detroit.
All right, and we got Panthers punch. That's what we're calling it. Having KD, Jermaine, they're on you, man.
Yeah, I saw KD had the Bears finishing second. That was a little surprised me, but Caleb Williams, could come in and live up to the hype. Also, they got a pretty stacked team with the people they picked up just through the draft and then through free agency. They had, I think the most amount of salary cap room and like any team, just millions that they could go out and get pretty much anybody they want that was available. So there's a chance that the Bears could make some noise this season. I think it's gonna be tough, but yeah, I can see where he's coming from.
Defense. Bears don't have the defense yet. That's the only thing that concerns me. I think they got some weapons on offense. If he comes in and is CJ Stroud, you'll see an improvement. But if not, that defense and the Bears, I'm not sold on yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. We going on to the AFC West. No surprise here. Everyone across the board picked the Chiefs. I mean, I think we all mostly agree the Chiefs are probably the best team in the whole entire NFL, especially with that quarterback that just seems to keep just making miracle plays left and right. Mostly everyone picked the Superchargers to finish second. I actually had them finishing last, and that's only because I had some concerns about what they lost, from the offseason in terms of skill players. They picked up, a rookie that looks pretty good. And Harbaugh, of course, is known for turning teams around. I just think it's going to take a minute for them to kind of get their footing, and I'm not sure that Herbert's going to stay healthy this season. There's always some concern with him and his plantar fasciitis in his foot already, and that's a lingering kind of injury that doesn't really get better without rest. So I think the Chargers could have a little bit of a tough season, but everyone else says the Chargers are going to finish second, and it'd be a flip for third and fourth with the Raiders and Broncos.
I didn't realize KD liked Caleb's nails. All right. I didn't know he rolled like that. So we got a lot going on the talk here.
So, yeah, I can't see the text. So I can't.
So Mike.
Yeah.
Or everybody. So the Chargers. So Harbaugh, right?
Yeah.
You think he's going to really take him into the playoffs this first season?
No.
Chargers, right, KD. Chargers have talent. Broncos is trash, but
I've gotten burned too many times by the damn Chargers.
Did you? Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, you always ride those coattails.
Yeah.
But I'll make this real fast. I was just because when I was doing my predictions, of course the Chiefs and stuff like that. But the Chargers, man, with the Harbaugh's credibility, Mike, San Fran and all that stuff, man. I don't know. He might turn them around if what's the name can stay healthy.
Yeah,
Herbert.
No, I agree. I mean, everywhere Harbaugh goes, they turn into winners. So I think he's going to turn it around. I just think this year is not going to happen this first year. I think you'll see improvement, but I think he's got to come in. I mean, I don't say he was cleaning the house, but there still was a lot lingering over from that last regime that they kind of got rid of. So now you got to see how the pieces and parts work together again and start building. So that's why I just think this first year they may not be as strong, but they'll be on the right path. Also, I got the Chiefs and I got the Raiders like in second place. I think the gap between first and second is still going to be pretty wide. Like the Chiefs are going to be, 12-5 or 13-4, and the Raiders will be 9-8, or 10-7. So I think there still will be a sizable gap between first and second place.
All right.
All right. So we're going on to the AFC East. Most of us had the Dolphins, so I picked the Dolphins helmet up there to finish the division as a division leader. A couple of other picks out there, like Hey Dizzle has the Jets finishing first, and Kai picked the Bills to finish at the top of the division. I think most of us all agree that the Patriots are going to finish last. This one could be a tough one. I think other than the Patriots, I think the Jets, the Bills, and the Dolphins could all flip positions pretty easily.
Yeah, KD, the Jets, come on, man. I mean, I don't know that they're quite ready yet. I think we knew what they were last year. Rodgers coming off major surgery. What, is he 40 now? 40? How old is he?
He's 40.
He's 40, yeah.
Yeah, he's 400, yeah.
I can't see that. I mean, come on. I just don't see them beating the Dolphins yet. If they do, I'd be shocked, but and I think the defense was really disappointing too. Because remember, everybody was hyped up about their D last year.
I was all
Yeah.
in.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Everybody was
I
like, "Oh, was it Sauce Gardner?" Everybody's like so excited. I'm like, nah, I just don't see it yet. All right, Brees Hall, some of these guys maybe, and don't forget they lost a piece to the Eagles too. So, and Hassan Reddick, I don't know. It doesn't sound like
Yeah.
he's coming back anytime soon. So, I don't know, man. I'm not
Yeah, that's the
sold
thing.
on
They
that
got
yet.
rid of a solid player, and then in return, they got a guy who doesn't even want to play.
Yeah.
That was a mistake.
But Sal, it was interesting. You're right. How the defense. But then I was reading a couple of articles this past month or so that now they're saying that Saleh is going to be like he's the coach, but like his defensive mindedness, he's starting to build this defense together. So are they going to really see him gel together now? Because seems like the article saying that he's got a stacked defense to go this year.
It's now or never, and they're going to need it because who knows?
Yeah,
what
their
Rodgers
D is
gonna
strong,
be.
right? KD, yeah,
Yeah.
right. Sal, right.
So I don't know. 9-10 wins, maybe. It depends. I mean, you got the Dolphins twice. I have to see their schedule fully, but yeah, it might be 8-9 might be pushing it, but I think they're in that 8-9 range, maybe. But we'll find out.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so we're gonna go on to the AFC South. This one, most of us picked the Texans. There were two surprises where Sierra and K Dizzle were on the same page, and they got the Titans finishing first. And I was very surprised by that, just because I think there's a lot of uncertainty with the Titans, especially with Will Levis as the quarterback, and then them losing Derrick Henry, who was the bell cow for that team for so long, and of course they got a new coach. But this is probably the one division that has softness in it. The Texans were strong last year, but they could be due for that sophomore slump. And then the Colts and Jags, were kind of meh to start with. So I think it is possible the Titans could make some noise. But Sal, what do you think? Do you think that the Titans have a chance, or that they're totally wrong?
No, I don't think they got a chance at all. I don't like. I mean. You're losing your bell cow, obviously, in Derrick Henry, and you already lost A.J. Brown. Those are tough shoes to fill. And then, like you mentioned, like that quarterback, Jermaine's favorite, man. He's like, who? Jermaine, come on, Jermaine, the Titans? Come on, talk some sense into to Kevin KD.
No, you can't talk sense into something like that. I mean, the Titans really, you can't do nothing like that. Hey, I love you, KD, but that's just crazy, man. That's ludicrous.
No, KD, you're right. It's a sleeper pick. I mean, like coma, like sleep, like yeah, they ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh man,
no, he ain't in a coma. He's dead.
I'm talking about, he says a sleeper pick, and I'm being sarcastic.
Coma, you have a chance. Coma, you have a chance, Dre. You don't have a chance.
Coma, you got a chance.
Oh man, I feel like we're gonna eat these words at the end of the season now. Like you're gonna be right.
Yeah, and Hef has a great point.
Man.
Titans lost Vrabel too. That's a great point. That's going to be a huge loss too. And Levis, come on. Yeah. I mean, Jesus God. Yeah, I don't see it, man. Yep.
All right. Well, and the last division is the AFC North. It was really a toss-up. Most of us had the Ravens finish in first place. A couple of us, of course, Sierra had the Bengals finishing first. K Dizzle and Sierra must have collaborated on this thing, because both of them got the Bengals finishing first place in that division. I think it's a gimme between all of us that the Browns and Steelers are going to be fighting, to stay out of the bottom. Both teams have struggles with quarterback. The Steelers still don't know who their quarterback's going to be, and the Browns, their quarterback is just a lemon, and they can't return them back to the store. But let's see, Sal, what do you think? You sold on the Ravens?
I would say it depends. The Chiefs seem to have their number. They just seem to have their number. That last year, I thought last year was their year. I like Baltimore. Will they do it again? It depends on if the quarterback stays healthy. You know what he is. I mean,
yeah.
So it's going to depend on the health. Without him, they don't really have it. So I don't know. I think their defense is solid. I think they have the tools in place. The coach is good. He's not over aggressive like we've seen from some of the other teams, like the Lions, right? That's the over aggressiveness is not there. That almost cost him the game last year, or did cost him a game. I mean, Andre, we talked about
Absolutely,
the
yeah.
Lions last year. That over aggressiveness cost them probably the game. So I
did.
think pieces are there. It's just a matter of, can they stay healthy? Will they wear down? Jackson runs a lot. Is he going to wear down? We'll see.
Oh yeah, I think also with the Bengals, the Bengals have always been that pick that when Joe's healthy, they are a really good team. When he's not healthy, they seem to struggle. So they're very similar to Ravens. There's that quarterback that makes the difference. If that guy gets hurt, it's a totally different team.
Yeah, let's talk about the towel for a minute. Dre, come on. Like, this guy, can we just move on? Can we stop with the towel?
Can't move on, man. All that money, shoot.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Guaranteed money. That's a wet towel all day.
So what happens if he doesn't do it? I mean, do they give up after this year? Do they move on, you think? If he doesn't do it this year, do they give him one more shot?
Well, of course, I got it wrong when we were talking in our last about the contract. He still got 2 more years to go, so they could cut him after the end of this year. They still eat, a chunk of money. It won't be as much money as they're going to eat this year, but the last, I think, year or two of that deal, it's not as bad from a salary cap perspective. I mean, dude's hurt. I mean, he hasn't played this whole preseason again because of shoulder soreness. So I think it's over.
Yeah, it's
really
over.
do.
I agree.
It's sad, man, but yeah, I think Jermaine's right. That he was just all talk and not really as good as we thought he was, and it's just a tragic story. I don't say tragic like deadly, but it's just one of them. It's like from a football perspective. It's just what you don't do as a football team. You don't commit to somebody that's got a shaky kind of past and background, and give them a guaranteed contract for God knows how much money, not knowing what you're getting into. That I think that was a lesson learned for the Browns.
Yep. All right.
So now we're moving on to the 2024. These are, the awards. Some of them are serious awards. Some of them are, funny awards. I give you guys a heads up. I had to change one of the awards. Our HR department had a conversation with me, which I'll explain in more details later. But let's go ahead and get this thing started. So first and foremost, we got the MVP. This is, of course, who we think is going to be the MVP of the league. A good handful of us all picked CJ Stroud. I picked Mahomes. Kai picked Mahomes. Tony said Christian McCaffrey would be MVP. Very possible, but it's always tough, for anybody that's not a quarterback to get MVP. Of course, Sierra had to pick Joe Burrow, and then Jermaine's got Joe Burrow. So what are you thinking, Jermaine? You think Joe is going to have a great year this year?
He's not in.
Yeah, Did we lose him? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think, Dre? You think Joe Burrow? Yeah, I know you got CJ Stroud, but you think Joe has a chance?
If he can stay healthy, if he can stay healthy, I say yes. I'm telling you, man, I don't know. That's why I went with CJ Stroud. I mean,
yeah.
CJ Stroud just showed so much explosion last year, and I think he's going to carry it on this year. But Joe Burrow, man, yeah, I like him. Don't get me wrong, man, but he just got to ball. He's just got to ball out for him to be the MVP.
Yeah, you're not worried about CJ Stroud and that sophomore slump.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
You know why, man? Because of DeMeco Ryans, man.
Yeah,
I mean, and the draft picks. I mean, they went all out. Remember what they did in the draft, man? They went out and got top players and also defensively too. So they're going to be a wreck in the NFL.
Yeah. I see. That's like spinal. As long as he doesn't break his back.
Terminal.
Yeah. Trey, can you find that clip for us for the end of the show? We got to see.
Yeah, that's funny.
We'll play that at the end of the show. All right. And Hef says, of course, if Burrow wins MVP, the Bengals win the Super Bowl. Probably. I think that very well might be true. We'll see.
Yeah. So yeah, moving on, we got the Ryan Leaf biggest bust award. This is a player that, of course, just turns into a bust this year. I was going to replace that pitcher with Deshaun Watson, but he's not out the league yet, so I kept Ryan Leaf up there. But Sal, you got Stephon Diggs being a bust.
Yep.
I mean, what's going on with that? You think he's done?
I do. I think he's all talk. I think he's overrated. I don't think he's going to have the year that everybody expects him to have. So, yeah, I'm not feeling it with Diggs this year. I don't think he's a team player, and I have some concerns.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, the Texans got Tank Dell and Nico Collins and some other weapons, so they may not necessarily need him as much. But yeah, no, that's interesting. I had Anthony Richardson. I just don't feel strongly about him leading that team for the Colts. Kai, Aaron Rodgers, Tony threw some fighting words out there. He put Jalen Hurts out there.
Oh,
I know.
Come on.
I know, Dre. You sometimes feel like Jalen Hurts is a bust.
I do.
Sierra had Caleb Williams. That's very possible, especially with him turning the ball over. It's going to be the one thing to watch for him. Dre, I know you're not sold on Trevor Lawrence. You've never been sold on him. So
Never.
He got the big money. Malik Neighbors is the receiver for the Giants. I kind of feel like he'll get a pass if he's a bust because he's got Danny Dimes throwing him the ball, so he doesn't stand a chance to begin with. Health throughout Dakota because Dak Prescott always has to make a list somewhere as a bust, and then Jermaine had the towel, which is Deshaun Watson, which his picture will eventually be on this slide. Your paper tiger team, these are the teams that look great on paper, but really in actuality are not all that strong. Sal, you had the Browns, I had the Jets, Kai and the Falcons. Tony throwing shots again with the Eagles. I mean, he's going for it this year. Sierra had the Browns. Dre, you had the Bengals. What about them? Do you think on paper they look good, but you just don't think they're strong?
Just like I mentioned about Joe Burrow. I mean, he's the glue, man. Like if he can't stay healthy, and also they lost Mixon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they lost him. I don't know what their running back's going to do this season. And then we always talked about the offensive line wasn't that great. They were okay last year. Well, they improved since the time they played Buffalo, and then they showed some improvement. But Joe's got to stay healthy, man. So it's like, yeah, they look good on paper, but I don't know if they can do that. That's what I was saying earlier about Joe Burrow. My guy, Dre. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. KD riding the Jalen Hurts train bust. Yeah, he was a bust last year, Jalen Hurts, man. I don't care if he was hurt or not. He played like crap. So he's got something to prove this year.
He might be a bust this year. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. He can't win with these weapons. Yeah, he's got a problem, man. So
yeah.
Then we can talk that Donovan McNabb part 2, like I was mentioning a while ago. All right. But yeah, the Bengals are nothing without Burrow. I agree.
Gotcha. All right, so moving on. This is a new award I call Life's Better on Saturn. So, this is a song by artist SZA, and Larry say, life would be better on Saturn. None of this matters. Basically, when you have a team that just like hurts you and lets you down so much that, you have a bag over your head. So, Sal, you said my Niners are going to hurt me the most this year. Man, that's cold, but I think it's very possible. It's happened the last, 2-3 years of getting to the Super Bowl or getting to an NFC championship and, just, throwing up at the wrong time. I got the Jets, which they've notoriously let down their fan base. But I think this year, there's a lot of hype for Aaron coming back, and I think they're going to get let down again. Kai had the Dolphins, which, a lot of this award mainly I had the Dolphins in mind because that's certainly a team that, constantly, gets everyone excited with the high power offense. And then by the end of the season, they're losing. Tony had the Jags doing it. Sierra had the Cowgirls. Cowboys always have let their fan base down. The Cowboys cycle, they call it, where they look good, get to the playoff, lose, and then go back to the off season. Dre, you got the Jags also. K Dizzle got the Chargers in there. And then, of course, Hef got the Jets and Jermaine. I know he's down on my Niners this year, but that's all right. And so for the video clip real quick, this 0-16. So this was the year when the Lions were starting out their season losing a bunch, and then I had this video clip that I found that I thought kind of played they sliced
they're
into
due
it.
for one. You know,
Exactly. I mean, why not the Philadelphia Eagles to get their first win? Because the Philadelphia Eagles is the worst team in the league. I don't care. Don't look at the numbers. Look at how the organization is set up and play. They don't know what they're doing. They have no clue what they're doing at all.
Okay. Well,
High school team can beat this team.
Let's go back to the line.
So, it shows how, I tried to find a clip where Dre was talking about how much it hurt to be an Eagles fan, but that was a couple of years ago, and of course now things have changed so much. But yeah, I had to bring back a little bit of blast from the past.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
We got Jermaine back. Let's get him in here. Jermaine, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, so they're talking trash. You and I both thought that the 49ers were going to be the biggest team that hurt their fan base this year, man, to Mike's chagrin over there. So talk to me.
Say that again.
So you and I picked the San Francisco 49ers both to basically hurt their fan base the most this year, to crash. So what's your opinion on that, as well as like a couple of people, signing in here like KD and all that? He thinks San Fran's going to crash too. So what's your story with them, man, the Niners?
But I believe I'm with KD. I think they're going to crash this year. I really do. I think they're falling right flat on their face. You know what I mean? And I think it's going to be a disappointing season. And I do believe that one of my picks was on the hot seat. It's got to be Shanahan. You know what I mean? If he don't get it done this year, I'm serious. If he don't get it done this year, I mean, all this time and whatnot, that's the way I see it. That's just my opinion, So, I mean, like I told you before, it's like, 49ers been pulling wool over our eyes. And then I think me and Dre was talking about it. It's like, well, wait a minute. They haven't won it just like the Cowboys haven't won it since the 90s. I mean, they've gotten there, and what has happened? And now you got all these contract disputes. I mean, I heard Trent Williams is getting it redone to being the highest paid tackle. But you still got the Ayuk situation, So, I mean, and then McCaffrey, with the Miles being, riding him for a long time and whatnot, I just don't see it this year.
So I don't know if you can see Jermaine, but KD says it sounds like you're in Nicaragua.
I sound like what? Say that again?
He said it sounds like you're in Nicaragua.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay. Speaking another language?
Yeah. Actually, KD, he's in Tennessee. Tennessee? That's where he is.
You see what I wrote? I wrote he's in Deep South, so yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't hear. Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. So now I'm on 75, right? I ran through this. Hey, look, I ran through this town and I didn't get no signal. None whatsoever. None. I mean, the bar, my phone went to 911. They was like, yeah, we only called it. I'm like, how do you live around here with no phone, with no connection, man? Jeez.
Hey, man, wherever, you're in Tennessee now. You're Dukes of Hazzard land now, man.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but I'm on 75 now. I got good connection. I got full bars. So.
All right, cool. All right, let's go on to the next one. This is the straight cash homie. So this is the best big free agent signing or trade acquisition. This of course was made famous by this little clip here.
Write the check yet, Randy? When you rich, you don't write checks. How do you pay, man? If you don't write checks, how do you pay these guys? Straight cash, homie.
Yep, straight cash, homie. Rich people don't write checks. So, Sal, you got Derrick Henry as the Ravens as the big pickup free agent. I think a couple of us feel that way. Have felt that way. I had Danielle Hunter in the Texans. I think he's going to be great for that team as a pass rusher. I think that was what they were missing last year, was someone that can get to the quarterback. So I think that's going to be a big deal. Kai had Derrick Henry and also Josh Jacobs up in Green Bay. Tony actually says Stephon Diggs, who you said was going to be a bust, Sal, he has him as the big free agent pickup for the Texans. Sierra also went with Derrick Henry. Dre, you had Joe Mixon and you got Diggs. So it's funny, that Sal was so down on him, but a couple of people were actually high on him. K Dizzle picked Barkley. I think that's a pretty solid choice. As long as Barkley stays healthy, I think he's going to be a big addition to that team. And then Jermaine Hollywood Brown. If you're there, can you talk about that? I don't think Hollywood Brown is the answer, but
Nah, Hollywood. I just feel so, but I forgot that he got hurt when I made that pick. I know he's out for like the first 4 to 6 weeks or something like that.
yeah,
Doesn't matter. He's out anyway.
Yes. Yeah. So I feel as though he'd make a good compliment, to that offense. He could spread the field when he's healthy, So, and then they picked up that rookie from the. Go ahead. They picked up that rookie from. They drafted that rookie. Rookie. I forgot his name. So
Xavier Worthy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe he's just a good compliment, So.
Okay.
Katie wants to know how we could not pick Barkley behind the best offensive line of football. Well,
because Barkley's got a lot of KD. Barkley has a lot of miles. Barkley has a lot of miles on him. That's what I'm afraid of. And this might call it as far as being healthy and stuff. That's just my concern. That's my
concern is: are they still the best offensive line? You just lost a Hall of Famer. You lost your right tackle. You're starting a second guy now at right tackle because your initial starter that you thought was going to be in there is not going there anymore. So I don't know. They'll still be good. Don't get me wrong, but Lane Johnson still is a year older. You got a backup right guard and you got a replacement center who just replaced the Hall of Famer and who's dating. No, he's not dating Taylor Swift. Sorry. That's his brother. But he's definitely still involved. It's good that Jason Kelce is still involved. He's going to be involved with that offensive line. And the Eagles probably have the best offensive line coach in the whole league. They really do.
You said Lane Johnson, and I think that's the X factor, honestly.
Yeah.
To keep that O-line together. And people could probably disagree with me, but for the money that we pay for him and stuff, to me, DeAndre Swift could have stayed behind that line.
100%.
If Barkley runs, it's not Barkley. Hold on. If the coaches will run the ball and Barkley will have over 1,000 yards for the season, and maybe, whatever, then I'll say, yeah, Barkley's the guy. But it just remains to be seen. And that's why I didn't think he was the one for that question.
Yep.
All right. The turnover machine. This is, of course, you got Brett Favre up there. This is the quarterback that we think is going to have the most turnovers. Sal, you got Danny Dimes. He already threw 2 picks in the preseason, so he's already on his way to get started. I had Caleb Williams only because I think, as a rookie, and then also with his history of turnovers in college, I think that's going to carry over to NFL, and he's going to figure that out. Kai picked Josh Allen, who's notoriously known for throwing interceptions. Tony got Will Levis, which I think is very possible, especially with the Titans and their struggles that they can have an offense. I don't think they have a lot of, deep receiver talent. What's his name is hurt. So that's going to make it tough, for windows to throw into. Sierra had Josh Allen. Dre, you got Sam the Damn Darnold. I call him Sam the Damn up there in the Vikings as the turnover machine. K Dizzle had Danny Dimes. Hef has whoever was going to be starting at the Raiders quarterback position, whether it be Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew, which it's going to be Minshew. And then Jermaine, you got Josh Allen going again this year.
Yeah. Can I change my pick to Trey Lance?
Well, he's not going to see the field, though.
I know. Danny Dimes might not either.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Trey had a bad night last night, but it's preseason. That's the only time he's going to see the field. Hopefully he makes the team. He might not even make the team. He might be cut because, I think he's number 3 on the depth chart.
Does John Lynch know something, Mike?
Yeah, shucks. I don't even want to talk about that. But,
he did draft him. Right, he traded a lot for him.
No, it was certainly a mistake. But let's go on. So this one is the boom. Where that truck come from? So this is defense MVP. Sal, you got Jalen Carter stepping up this year, and that's a big step up. Both me and Kai at TJ Watt. Tony and Sierra both said Nick Bosa. I'm not sold on Bosa no more. I'll get to that later. But Dre, you had Chris Jones and Charles Omenihu. K Dizzle also had Jalen Carter. And then Hef had Williamson Jr. for the Texans, and then Jermaine had Aiden Hutchinson on the Lions. So Jalen Carter, you know, what did you guys see? I know last year he, you know, got tired. It seemed like at the end of the season. You think that, you know, he's got his stamina up this year?
Yeah, I think just raw talent wise is what you're seeing from him. I mean, the potential is there if he does, number one, doesn't wear down again. He supposedly did a lot of work this offseason to improve that. I just think he's got the raw talent and the skills to really step up this year. And he's not going to be in that rotation now that some of those Eagles retired on the defensive line. So I think that between those two things, he's also going to have help on the defensive line too. So, you know, I think it's going to be a better season for him just overall. He's better against the run. He's better against the pass rush, as long as they don't drop him back into coverage. So I think the defensive scheme is going to be better too. I think there's a better defensive coach. I think they're going to know how to utilize him better. Obviously, Vic will use him a lot differently than he's been used in the past. But yeah, KD agrees with me. KD says 14 sacks. Let's not get crazy. I don't know whether we're up there yet, but I do think he'll get 8 or 9 sacks this year.
Cool. And you know, for you old school batting players out there, I finally found the video for this. So, I don't know if you guys played Madden back in the day where they run the players over.
Love it. Oh man, I remember that so much.
That was so great. Oh,
that's
man.
awesome.
So we got the AP Hold My Beer Award. This is the guy or player, team, whatever that's going to be the biggest distraction to their team. Sal, you got Brandon Ayuk, which has been the case all off season and still continues. So that is definitely a good choice. Hopefully it doesn't go throughout the entire season, but there is a chance it can be. Justin gets traded to Washington, which, you know, we'll see.
Steelers.
Aaron Rodgers is my pick, you know, because Aaron just loves controversy. I think that's what's going to be the Jets on doing, you know, is this, you know, him saying things, doing things as usual, being Aaron Rodgers. Kai has Malik Neighbors, which I don't know his personality, but, you know, he's got Danny Dimes throwing him the ball or trying to throw the ball to him. So maybe he's one of those diva receivers that gets mad that he can't get the ball. Tony's got George Pickens out of Pittsburgh, which that's very doable, especially with, you know, not knowing who the quarterback's going to be throwing the ball there. Sierra's got Harrison Butker, which, you know, he already had, you know, a lot of attention drawn to him just for his comments and stuff when he gave, you know, a speech at the college. Of course, he's the highest paid kicker in the league now, so there's extra, you know, eyes on him to perform. Dre, you got Aaron Rodgers. K Dizzle's got famous Jameis Winston on there. Jameis right now is in the Browns as a backup. But, you know, given that the situation they had with Deshaun Watson in his arm, it's very possible that Jameis could play. Hestrings also picked Ayuk, and then Jermaine, you got Deebo Samuels and AJ Brown. Surprisingly, I thought AJ was pretty quiet. You know, last year he had a couple moments, but I don't know. I think it'll be quiet this year. But what do you think about AJ Brown? Why did you say him?
He can erupt at any time, man. You know what I mean? And I know towards the end of the season it was a major breakdown, you know, but he can erupt any time, especially when he don't get the ball. Now you know picked up Jahan Johnson. You got so many weapons out there. He still wants to be the number one guy. He wants all the balls. You know what I mean? Even if they win, even if they're winning, I could still see him pouting or going the heck off and whatnot. So that's why I picked him. It's only one ball that can go around with all that talent, just like with Houston. I mean, I guess I missed that whole segment with Houston and all that stuff. It's only one ball. You got all that talent and all that stuff. What are you going to do? You know?
Right.
So. Kellen Moore got his hands full.
Yeah, but I guess it's good to have the weapons and not. But yeah, I see what you're saying about that. You know, if he's one of those guys, especially if he's got incentives in his contract to get a certain number of catches and balls and all that kind of stuff, and if the ball's getting spread around. But I mean, they invested heavy into him. They invested heavy into Of course, I can't think of his. What's your guy's second receiver right now? Bonnie Smith. Yeah, I always forget him for some reason. And then of course they got Deshaun Johnson, which I thought is a steal. I mean, I thought he was pretty decent in Washington.
100% steal.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know why. And he had to be really bad in Washington for them to be like, we're going to get rid of you for nothing and send you to a team right up the road that's our rival. I mean, that's just. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, I think Howie fleeced another team.
Well, we'll see what happens because Washington could be making room for Ayuk, like we talked about. So we'll see. But still, that's a lot to give up.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, must have stick 'em on the hand is the next award. That's who we think is going to be the best receiver. I'm not going to play the video. I'm just going to go through the picks real quick. So Justin Jefferson's out. So you got both Tony and I got Amon-Ra St. Brown this year. I think really he's stepping up. Kai's got Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelce, I think is pretty. He did really great last year. I think it's very possible he could do great again because he's got the best quarterback in the world. Dre, you got AJ Brown, really stepping up. I mean, if he does, that means Hurts is probably gonna have a good year then too. K Dizzle's got Jamar Chase. Jermaine, you got Jamar Chase also, and then Hef's got Michael Pittman Jr. over there with the Colts. So this was the award that I had to change a little bit. It's still the 15 Minutes of Fame award. So this is like a player or a team that, comes out hot. And then by the end of the season, we completely forget about them. So Sal, you got Will Levis, playing strong and then just disappearing. I got the Falcons as that team that I think will be hot and then will flame out towards the end. Kai's got the Jets. Tony thinks the Cowboys. Sierra's got the Texans. Hef's got Marvin Harrison Jr. and the Cardinals. That's very possible. Jermaine, of course, you got Michael Parsons. I know you're not really strong on him. And then K Dizzle's got the Dolphins. Booty on fire. So this is the coach that we think is going to be on the hot seat towards the end of the season. So Sal, you think Nick Sirianni is going to be on a hot seat? I got Brian Daboll. I think that's kind of an easy pick. But Kai's got all the NFC coaches except for Dan Quinn are all going to be on a hot seat. Tony, taking his shot at the Eagles, think Sirianni is going to be on a hot seat. Sierra's got Stefanski and the Browns. I think Dre, Hef, and Jermaine all got Mike McCarthy on that list. K Dizzle was going with the first-year coach mainly because of their crazy owner who's very impatient. That's Dave Canales in Carolina. Hopefully, they gave him a 6-year deal, I believe. So hopefully they got a little more patience and to fire him after 1 year. But they fired Frank Wright after 6 months or 3 months on the job. So it's very possible that they get rid of him. What do you guys think? You guys agree with some of these hot seat choices?
Well, I think if you look at Sirianni, this is it, right? His contract's up. So it's either now or never. And we can have a discussion and maybe I'll just open up super quick. What's success for Sirianni? I mean, does he have to go a round or two into the playoffs? Does he have to win the Super Bowl? What does he got to do to keep his job?
More than 10 wins in the playoffs. Possibly just be better than last year. You got 10 last year straight. Don't lose the last 6. I mean, you know what I'm saying? To me, he's on death row. He's dead man walking, honestly. He is. He's on death row. And he's walking down that long aisle to that electric seat. So he better get it together. I mean, I'll make it real fast. There was even talks that I was reading about saying he had a leash on Brian. He had a leash on Desai, and he was still calling plays. Remember at the beginning of the first of the season, I should have put Nick down, but I went for McCarthy. But Nick, remember the first season, man, he called 80 pass plays and 10 run plays, or the number 3, how we started off our season.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Jermaine, KD saying Super Bowl win or bust. What do you think for Sirianni? Oh, if we lose him, I think we lost.
Yeah, repeat that again.
Oh, I was going to say, KD was saying Super Bowl or bust for Sirianni. What do you think? What does he got to do to keep his job?
Just mind his business. That's all. You know what I mean? Just be that puppet that's supposed to be. That's all. You know what I mean? He'll keep his job if he keeps his mouth shut. Just mind your business and let the coordinators do their jobs and everything else. You know what I mean? You just sit there and just be the rah-rah man and the puppet. That's all.
Man, all
Dang.
right. Wow.
Well, you don't need them then, really.
Yeah.
At that point, just get AI or something like that.
I'm just still mad. I'm still mad from last year losing those last six games straight, and how we were just depleted against Tampa and give daggone, what's the name, a big ass contract for him. I mean, I'm sorry, money because they beat up on a team that was depleted. I was just pissed off, and I'm still hurt with Nick Sirianni. I'm just mad, man.
Yeah, but we all saw it, I think, in the beginning of the year that even when they were winning, it was sloppy. They didn't seem like they had it together. And the offense looked boring. There seemed to be no excitement around it. It seemed predictable to me. So, it didn't surprise me in some ways. And I kind of kept telling people to pump the brakes a little bit and say, let's not get too excited here because we know what they do. They're not like the Cowboys in the sense that they get in the playoffs and they lose, but they definitely, when you start out that hot, but it wasn't that they started out that hot because they did, but when you win games the way they were winning games, and then you start playing those more difficult teams, it really started after the San Fran game.
Yes,
when they started going downhill.
Yeah,
that San Fran game threw them into a tailspin.
Yeah,
and they never recovered.
No, hold up, Sal. Sal, can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. It didn't start at the San Fran game. It started like after week 3. It started after week 3. That's when it started. And I mean, it started at the beginning of the season. You know what I mean? When they was just barely winning games and stuff like that. Yeah, it was a problem from the start, man. It wasn't the San Fran game. It wasn't.
Yeah. Well, it started when they stopped running the ball. That's when it started.
Yeah.
They got away from that. That's when things started tightening up. But yeah, I think Sirianni is definitely on a hot seat. I'll be curious to see if they fire him, who they will hire to replace him. That's my question is
Bill Parcells.
Brian Belichick. Belichick.
No,
Bill
I don't know how he's
Go get Belichick.
Work for Howard go nuts working with one of those guys. But let's go on to the next slide. So we got the Coulda Woulda Shoulda. This is a team that we think will have an early playoff exit. Sal, I mean, the safe pick is always the Cowboys. They do what they always do. I got the Packers this year going out early. Kai says he thinks whoever wins the NFC East, whatever team wins that, is probably going to be out the playoffs. I think that's him saying that the division's not that good. Tony's taking his shot again at the Eagles. Sierra's got the Bills going out early this year. I think that's very possible. Jay, you got the Rams going out this year. They were tough last year. They really should have beat Detroit, but you got them going out early. K Dizzle's got the Jets going out early. I think that's very possible that they could get in and get pushed right out. The Ravens, that would upset this town half if where we live at, if the Ravens get knocked out early in the playoffs. They got a lot of high hopes for that team after last year. And Jermaine, you got the Cowboys because that's just what the Cowboys do.
Yeah. It's interesting. Right. Dre, what do you got? Man, that's a tough one. First round exit there. I'm surprised you didn't pick the Cowboys, man. What happened? That's your team that you always say they are what they are.
Remember, man, what you said at the beginning, just opened me up dyslexic. By question number 28, I was like seeing stuff all over the place, man.
I was shocked that Dre didn't pick the Cowboys.
But the reason why I picked the Rams is because I'm a little worried about Matthew Stafford. I can see inconsistencies with him. Yes, they got that wide receiver from last year, which was very good. Yeah, him. And then what's the name is getting older every year,
Cooper Kupp. Yeah.
Cooper Kupp. And defensively, man, I just don't even see nothing going on with them, honestly. I mean, and that division too. I mean, you got Niners, right, in there.
Yep.
And you got and so I that's why I said they're gonna go out early.
Yeah, I think for them it's a matter of whether they can get a home game. If they win the division, they'll get a home game. If not, then they'll be a wild card team. I have to go on the road, and I think that's where they could struggle if they have to go someplace like Detroit again, or if they have to go to Philly or one of those one of those teams that would beat them in a wild card game.
And make a note: all teams are playing their division games late. In the season. So That's going to be critical for the Rams. That's what I'm thinking.
Real quick,
Oh, yeah.
Cowboys making the playoffs. Katie wants to know, quick poll. I say yes, but they lose in the first round.
I say, boy, I say yes, but I don't know how, because they got Ezekiel Elliott as their feature running back. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Featured
But-
center.
Yeah, right. He's all around, jack of all trades. And then CeeDee Lamb, if he doesn't show up, that team really is in trouble. So I don't know how they're going to get in the playoffs, but somehow they'll find a way, because they usually just do get into the playoffs and then they'll lose and then they'll blow it all up.
Well, the rest of the division, they'll beat Washington and the Giants, so that's how they'll probably sneak in. But what do you think, Dre?
No.
No, you're not going to get in?
No.
He's like, no.
Cowboys are so disarray, man. I don't even see them 8 wins, maybe.
They're done.
Yeah.
You're saying they're done.
All right.
8, 7 wins, honestly.
Okay. All right.
All right. So the rookie sensation, this is the rookie that you think will light it up. Sal, you and I both were high on Xavier Worthy going to the Chiefs. I think that's a great situation for him. Kai had Ladd McConkey, which is a receiver that the Chargers picked up that they're pretty high on. Of course, Tony had to go with Jaden Daniels. So I got JD5 because, Washington loves giving, initials and numbers to their quarterbacks. Sierra had Rome Odunze, playing with Caleb Williams up there in Chicago. Brendan Rice, Dre, you had him. K Dizzle had Xavier Legette. Hef had Mike Samer still. He's a cornerback for Washington. Apparently, he's done pretty good so far in the preseason. And then Jermaine's got Marvin Harrison Jr. Don't call it a comeback. This is, of course, that veteran player. Geno Smith, originally started this award because, he was kind of washed up and went to Seattle and got a start and played very well and kind of has had like a re-emergence of sorts. And so this award, Sal, you got Aaron Rodgers. Of course, you went out last year with that Achilles pop. So you got him as that comeback. I'm still good. He's 40. I had Sam the Damn Darnold being that comeback player, that guy that's been passed around a little bit that finally maybe finds his spot in Minnesota. Kai's got Justin Fields going there in Pittsburgh. That's to be seen. I know he's still battling with Russell to get the starting job, but there's a chance he could fix his career there. Tony's got Joe Burrow coming back. Of course, Joe got hurt last year, so he can make a strong comeback. Sierra's got Derek Carr, who's had his struggles down in New Orleans. That this is his year to turn things around. Dre, you got Joe Mixon. K Dizzle's got Gardner Minshew going out there in Vegas. Hef got Matt Stafford, who was hurt last year. Coming back to have a strong year this year. And then Jermaine, you got Danny Dimes, which that would be a shock if he ends up being, that don't call it a comeback player, because he is low.
Yeah, I think at that time I had a headache. I was at work when I was doing these picks. So I think a migraine was starting to come, and then I was like, I gotta get something to eat. I gotta get something to eat. I said, so let me just put Danny Dimes down there.
Oh,
Yep.
Well, can it get any worse, Jermaine?
I feel you, man. I feel you. That's what I was getting. I was lost.
Man. Danny Dimes, the comeback player of the year. Look, if it happens, holy crap, man. But
he would save Daboll's job.
Yeah.
For real.
Well, he didn't play Lance.
Yeah, no, he's not coming back, man. It's done. It is done. It's sad, but I mean, he got a couple more years to go. Give him about 3 more years. Maybe he'll hit that right team and he'll figure it out. But big part of his problem is he's still learning how to play football. That whole thing with him, when he got drafted, he didn't really play a lot of football in high school, and then in college he didn't throw a lot of balls. So all that lack of experience is caught up to him. And the last award is the spam. Anybody plays video games, you find something that works, you just keep spamming it and keep doing it over and over and over again. So I call this the most overused player or play. Sal, you got, my Niners is basically running CMC into the ground. I think that Eagles are going to do the same thing to Saquon Barkley, where they're just going to just run him all over the place, throwing the ball, running the ball, you name it. Kai's got Mahomes just doing his magic as usual. Tony's got CMC. Jay, you got the tush push, and the Eagles still using that, over and over again, especially on 4th and 1. K Dizzle was thinking that Debo is going to be, the player that San Francisco is going to keep using over and over again, doing the stuff they did a couple years ago where he was the offense. Hef's got Taysom Hill, which, is kind of that gadget player for the Saints. And, they do use him a lot, especially when they take Derek Carr out, or I saw in the preseason, they're actually using him in the running game. So I can see that as a good choice. And then Jermaine, you think CMC is going to be that player that San Fran uses over and over and over again? All right. So real quick, these are the top picks. So these are all the serious categories. So let's go ahead and go through these. So NFC champion, not too many surprises here. I think a good chunk of us all think the Lions are going to go. I love you, Tony, for picking the Niners, even though I'll be honest, I actually think the Niners are going to be that team. I just can't go against my Niners. I mean, my Niners are going to be there. But honestly, I think the Lions are really the top team in the NFC. Dre, you got Green Bay, which I can see that. K Dizzle, of course, had to stick with his team, so he's got the Eagles, going to the Super Bowl again. Guys, any comments on this one? You feel pretty good about it?
Yeah,
No.
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead, Jermaine. Go ahead. Jermaine, can you hear us?
I think he just threw his phone
Yeah, I
out
can
the
hear
window.
you.
Oh.
Yeah,
Go
I can
ahead.
hear you.
Go ahead. What were you going to say, man?
Oh, no, I was just saying, no, I don't feel good about it at all. No, I don't. I mean, they'll
About
make
the Eagles?
playoffs. I mean, I don't see them going to the Super Bowl.
The Eagles, you mean?
Yeah, the Eagles.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's what you
Okay.
was
So you had
That's
the
what you was
Lions,
asking, right?
Yep.
Oh, the Lions?
Well, you had the Lions going. K Dizzle thinks the
Yeah, I
Eagles.
got the Lions. Yeah, you was talking about the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't feel
Okay.
good. I mean, I feel good they have a better season. They're not going to have a major collapse. But I don't see them going to the Super Bowl,
What about the Niners, Jermaine?
No, Niners either. I mean, it's time for some fresh blood. You know what I mean? I mean, yes, I'm an Eagles fan and all that stuff, but yeah, I think I'm riding Detroit's coattail this year.
All right,
And
Dre,
I
what do you
learned
think?
I learned from Jermaine. You have to be a realist. Like
Mhm.
remember, we are now don't know what's going to happen for our team, right? So I mean, of course, I want the Eagles, but I just going by statistics, what last year and how now we got all this new stuff. We don't know how it's going to work out, and I'm seeing Green Bay as a better team, better than everybody. So of course, I want the Eagles, but you gotta be real, man. Just like Jermaine says.
Yeah, I think there's like a group of tier 1 teams who are like the Lions, the Packers, the Niners. I don't know if the Eagles are in quite with those just yet. I think they're upper tier 2, but I just don't see them in that tier 1 group yet.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, let's go to AFC champ. So, Sal, you think the Texans are going to get to the Super Bowl? I got the Chiefs going back. Kai's got the Ravens. Tony thinks the Chiefs, which right now that seems Tony's predicting a rematch, Niners Chiefs. Sierra, of course, had to pick the Bengals. Dre, you got the Texans. K Dizzle's got the Bengals. Hef is riding the Dolphins again. He picked the Dolphins last year. And Jermaine, you got the Texans going to the Super Bowl this year. And then actual Super Bowl champ, I got Sal. You think the Texans are going to win the whole thing? That'd be interesting. I actually first picked the Niners, but reality, I picked the Chiefs. I think they're going to win it. I think they're going to get their three-peat, make history. Kai's got the Ravens. Tony's actually picking the Niners, so I love him for that. Sierra's got the Bengals. Dre, you got the Texans. K Dizzle, of course, is sticking with the Eagles, winning the Super Bowl and saving Sirianni's job. And then both Hef and Jermaine think the Lions are going to win it this year and make that town real happy. So you guys agree with any of this?
Yeah, you know, it was tough because I do like the Lions, I like the Texans, and obviously I like the Chiefs. So it was really a tough call between them. And you can probably maybe throw Green Bay in there, but I think ultimately in the end, if the Texans stay healthy and Stroud doesn't have that sophomore slump, I don't see how they're going to stop him. I think they got the coaching. I think they got the defense. I think they got the offense. So I don't see how that team. They might be the one team that could finally take it to the Chiefs.
Yeah, man, I'm all on Texans coattails. Like I said, I was impressed with CJ Strauss, and I'm a big D'Amico Ryans, former Eagle. So, he's the head coach there. I'm supporting him 100%, man. I think they're going to be the team, man, this year. I think they are.
Yep.
I hear you, KD. I understand, man. I got a lot of people who say that. I don't care about the Eagles fans over everything. I got you.
We're just realists, man.
We're just being realists, man.
Yeah, doesn't mean we don't like them. Doesn't mean we don't support them and want them to win. But we got to be realists.
All right. So coach of the year, it seems like there's a lot of picks for D'Amico Ryans. I thought he should have got it last year, honestly. Just with the turnaround that he did do with that team. But yeah, a lot of us got D'Amico Ryans. Kai, of course, is being the home with Jim Harbaugh. Tony doing the same thing with Dan Quinn. And K. Diz also doing the same thing with Nick Sirianni. Again, I guess him getting the Super Bowl will save his job. He's going to have to do a heck of a coaching job to be able to get that. So yeah, that's just the coach of the year. Assistant coach of the year. So this is, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator that you guys will pick as assistant coach. So both me and Sal had Ben Johnson up there in Detroit. He was really good last year for Detroit. I mean, they made Jared Goff, look like Joe Montana at times. Tony's got Joe Witt Jr., who's the defensive coordinator for the Commanders. Jay, you got Aaron Glenn, who's the D coordinator out there in Detroit. I know their defense has struggled a little bit at times, but, he is pretty good. K. Dizzle, had Brian Dable, which I assume he meant he's going to get fired and get rehired to be an offensive coordinator again. And then both Hef and Jermaine also picked Ben Johnson up there in Detroit. GM of the year, Sal, you had Brad Holmes, the Lions GM. He has done a pretty good job building that team, especially through the draft. So I think that's a good choice. I had Nick Caserio with the Texans. Dre, you also had Nick Caserio as well. Kai sticking with his Chargers, got Joe Ortiz. And then Tony sticking with his home team Commanders, got Adam Peters. Hef sticking with his home team, got Adam Peters. Jermaine went with Brian Gutekunst, who's the Packers GM. And then, of course, K. Dizzle went with Howie Roseman and the Eagles because he is always going to stay true to these Eagles. And I found this video clip yesterday that cracked me up, so I had to stick this in here.
I will respect what you're saying. If you got a hot nut for Howie because you think that he did this and he did that and whatnot. Listen, Sal.
Say that again.
If you have a hot nut for Howie, all right? My thing is this, okay?
That's when we had a conversation about Howie Roseman. When because Sal, like you say, you always are bagging on Howie as the GM, and that's it. That is all the predictions, guys. So thank you for everybody that contributed, and hope you enjoyed it.
A hot nut? What? What was that, Jermaine? Oh my God, that was great. I don't know how you found that, Mike. But
that is hilarious. Hilarious.
Oh my God, Trey, that's a short we got to put up real quick. Oh man.
Yeah.
But while we're wrapping up here, guys, I know we're going a little bit long than we typically do. Drake, can you find that clip for Tyson for us real quick, and I'll wrap this thing up as we're talking here. So what we got this year, guys, we got a great season 5 coming up. We got a lot of good guests. We have some former players coming on. We have some guys who do NFL production and producing. In fact, one of them is going to be working with Tom Brady. So we're trying to get them on the show as well. We also got some fans. As you know, the show is always from the perspective of the fans. So we got that on as well. A lot of different fans and fans from the past that we've had on. So it's going to be an exciting season. We thank everybody as always for coming on to our show. As always, you can check us out online. It's Enough Said Crew, whether it's on X, whether it's on Instagram. We're working on TikTok. We have YouTube. Or you can just email us, enoughsaidcrew@gmail.com. And I think we'll end with this. Here we go.
What was the problem?
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that? You
My
broke
back is broken.
what? A vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
You did that in sparring?
No, I did it by a motorcycle accident. The doctor discovered I was doing my sit-ups 2,500 a day with my 20-pound weight, and one day I couldn't move anymore. And I asked the doctor, what's wrong? And he said, believe it or not, it's wearing your back is broken slightly.
Mike, were you really sick this week? What was the problem?
Oh, man, that never gets old. Thanks, Trey. I love that.
Yeah, no problem. That's hilarious. Spinal.
Oh, man. Have a good week, everybody. We're going to be up after Labor Day, so we'll catch you all, of course, before the Eagles game. Remember, they're playing Friday night in Brazil. There's also a Thursday night game, so we will catch you before that show, guys. It's a pleasure as always, gentlemen.
All right, everybody. Have a good one.
All right. Peace. Yep.